and welcome all friends and devotees of yoga and meditation. Today is Thursday the 10th. Thursday the 10th of September 2015. We'll continue our lectures on Buddhism, to understand Buddhism. This is the work handed down to us by the Grandmaster Ching Kong. Grandmaster Ching Kong, for all those who are new, is one of the greatest authorities of Buddhism of our time. There are other authorities of Buddhism such as Grandmaster Sing Yun, the Dalai Lama, and Grandmaster Cheng Yen, who is a female. Grandmaster Ching Kong particularly has done a lot of extensive research, delving back way into the origins of Buddhism. He has taken us many millenniums back, to really see the day of the Buddha, and precisely who the Buddha is, and the kind of relationship that exists between us and the Buddha, which is a teacher-student relationship. And therefore, Buddhism is not really a world religion, as a lot of people try to portray. Even Buddhists, those who are Buddhists, some people, there are some schools who sort of hold Buddhism as a world religion, but not us. I don't teach that Buddhism is not a world religion, in my opinion, which of course comes from Grandmaster Ching Kong's teachings. Because of the kind of relationship that exists between us and the Buddha, which is a teacher-student relationship. I want you to always remember this. Those of you who are new, always remember the relationship between the reason why we don't hold Buddhism as a world religion, but rather as a universal institution of special learning. That's my definition, universal institution of special learning, is because of the kind of relationship that exists between us, students, and the Buddha. It's a teacher-student relationship. The Buddha is our supreme teacher, unlike Christianity. Christians don't see Jesus Christ as teacher. Christians see Jesus Christ as their God, as the Son of God. I'm of Catholic origin. My parents were Catholic, so I know that very well. Muslims, of course, have studied Islam too, just like Grandmaster Ching Kong, who studied all the world religions and then picked Buddhism. You can consider me, just like that, to have studied all the major world religions. I've studied Christianity in depth. Jesus Christ is regarded as the Son of God. So Jesus Christ is human and also divine. It's more than human. It's not just a teacher. Muhammad is the prophet of Allah, and Allah is God for the Muslims. They worship Allah. Hindus have Krishna, Shiva, Vishnu, so many other deities that they are devoted to in Hinduism. But I think the most popular, the supreme deity in Hinduism, I think, is Krishna. So you have Hare Krishna. We have Hare Krishna temple in my home state in Nigeria, in Benin City, which is the capital of my home state, Edo State, where I'm from in Nigeria. We have a mighty Hare Krishna temple there. Okay, where Krishna is worshipped as a god. Bhagavad Gita refers to Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead. Buddhism is different. In Buddhism, the Buddha is our teacher. The relationship between us and the Buddha is a teacher-student relationship where tomorrow we ourselves can be Buddhas. Unlike the gods, the systems, Christianity, Islam, and Hinduism that deal with gods, the people worship you as slaves of the gods or servants of the gods or sinners. And there's a very different relationship here if you really understand what is going on. You worship the God. It's a God and sinner relationship. That's what makes it very interesting. The God is worshipped by sinners who are sinful persons. In Buddhism, that's not a relationship at all. Buddhism is a professor-student. The Buddha is our teacher. We are students. We are not sinners. We are students. We want to learn from the Buddha. The Buddha is our teacher. The Buddha is knowing. We are enthusiastic to know. We are students. We want to know. We want to learn. The Buddha is our teacher. The Buddha is all-knowing, enlightened, omniscient. We come to the Buddha to learn from the Buddha. So the relationship, again, is a teacher-student relationship. I prefer that kind of relationship to a relationship of God and sinners relationship. Now, for those who are new, I'll try to refer you to some other resources which we have to enhance your studies. Follow us up on the websites attached to these videos to understand Buddhism. And we are now reading from page 40, the 6 parameters or principles. The fourth guideline is the 6 principles or parameters that are the primary living principles of bodhisattvas. Each principle encompasses our whole way of living. For example, the first of the 6 principles is giving. Some people think of giving as simply donating money. Actually, this is only one of the infinite kinds of giving. From the appearance, giving is sacrificing oneself to give to others. However, from its intrinsic nature, giving is letting go. We can practice giving of our wealth or physical strength. For example, a homemaker keeps house daily providing a comfortable environment for the family. Without proper understanding, this homemaker may feel these daily chores are receptive. This homemaker may feel these daily chores are repetitive, that washing clothes and cooking meals are boring. If, however, the homemaker clearly understands that he or she is cultivating the bodhisattva way by practicing the 6 principles, then he or she will be filled with joy. Changing one's perception of doing the same chores with a giving, non-attaching heart is practicing the principle of giving. Not only does one serve the whole family by keeping the house neat, but one also serves as a role model for all relatives and neighbors. In this way, not just one, but all beings benefit. One is thus a family role model for all families. Whether managing a store or business, being a role model for others is practicing the bodhisattva way in guiding sentient beings. The principle of giving can be expanded to the infinite universe and beyond. With this extensive broad-mindedness, one is a Mahayana bodhisattva. Giving is comprised of 3 categories: wealth, teaching, and fearlessness. The giving of wealth includes internal and external wealth. Internal wealth involves all of our mental and physical labors that benefit others. External wealth is the giving of all other things, for example, money, food, etc. Gaining wealth is the result of giving wealth. The giving of teaching is the willingness to instruct others while not selfishly holding back any knowledge. It is to do one's very best in educating willing students. As a result, one gains intelligence and wisdom. The giving of fearlessness includes soothing away others' fears and providing a feeling of security. As a result, one gains health and long life. Most people wish for wealth, intelligence, wisdom, health, and long life. When there is a good cause, a good reward will follow. One does not receive a reward without first planting the good cause. By practicing all 3 kinds of giving, one perfectly attains all these rewards. Observing carefully, we will see that there are not many who have all they wish for. Some wealthy employers do not possess great intelligence or wisdom, but have intelligent and wise employees working under them. following their instructions. The intelligent and wise employees have cultivated wisdom in their past lives, but did not cultivate good fortune. On the other hand, these employers cultivated good fortune, but did not cultivate wisdom. Cause and effect may be complex, but not hard to distinguish. Thus, using Buddhist principles to observe society enables one to know how to conduct oneself in the future. In reality, true wisdom is more important than good fortune. Wealth is good fortune, but how one uses and allocates wealth requires a high level of wisdom. Without wisdom, possessing wealth may lead one to create infinite bad karma from bad deeds, thinking one is doing good. Without wisdom, one is unable to distinguish true from false, proper from deviated, right from wrong, or beneficial from harmful. Often one is ignorant of having conducted oneself in an erroneous manner. All these principles are explained very clearly in Liao Fan's 4 lessons. Within good and bad, there exists true and false, half and full, right and wrong. From its appearance, what may appear to be a true good deed due to changes in its nature, some time later can turn out to have been a very bad one. On the other hand, what may initially appear to be a bad deed can turn out to have been a good one. Therefore, one needs insight to understand the outcome of all good and bad deeds and not to judge them by their initial appearance. One needs a high level of wisdom to understand deeply and to be far-sighted enough to distinguish correctly the truth. The second principle is precept observation, which also has a broad meaning. One follows the Buddha's teachings accords with the customs of society and abides by the rules and laws of a country. In both the spirit of the law as well as the letter, all rules and laws need to be followed. The third principle is patience. Patience includes long-term patience, whether interacting with people, matters, or objects. As the Buddha explained in the Diamond Sutra, all Dharma is attained from patience and endurance. To succeed in either worldly or spiritual Dharma, one must have patience. Without it, one cannot attain achievement. Having this patience to endure what others cannot, one achieves what others cannot. Only then will one accomplish great deeds. The fourth principle is diligence. Diligence is seeking focused improvement daily, not trying to advance in many different directions. Advancing with diligence to a certain level, one attains concentration. This concentration does not simply mean cultivating while sitting in a lotus position facing a wall. It is to have a firm hold of one's mind and not to be influenced by external conditions. This accords with the Diamond Sutra to remain unmoved by the unattached. To remain unmoved by and unattached to any phenomenon. To remain unmoved by and unattached to any phenomenon. Not attaching to any phenomenon is to not be enticed by temptations from external influences. One achieves concentration when one is unmoved by all phenomena, such as the advancement of scientific technology, so confusing yet dazzling to our eyes. It is seeing everything clearly and knowing that all is intuitive wisdom, the prajna wisdom. In this way, one will then live happily. For example, when we buy a refrigerator, use and maintain it nicely, it can last at least 10 years. During these 10 years, there will be improvements and changes in refrigerator manufacturing. Will we want to exchange it for a new one when there is no need for a new one and we continue to use it? We have concentration. When we are moved upon seeing a new model in the store and want to buy it to replace the old one, afraid that guests will laugh at the latest appearance, we have neither concentration nor wisdom. Living in this way, one would not be happy because one's income will slip through one's fingers just trying to keep up with new products. Buddhism calls this Mara. Mara. What comes to one to make one suffer? In this case, to tempt one to spend all their hard-earned money. A truly wise person will be unmoved and live a happy, fulfilling life without worries or afflictions, unlike ordinary people. Folks, I'll leave this to your contemplation. We have enough to contemplate and meditate on this morning. The objective of Buddhism is to contemplate, meditate, and reflect on wisdom like this. And use your intelligence to apply this wisdom to daily living to be able to extirpate suffering from your lives. The Buddha is our teacher, our supreme teacher. We are the students. We take his wisdom, just like what we've read this morning. You use it. The Buddha's goal, the straight point, was suffering, to extirpate suffering from humanity, just like doctors nowadays focusing on cancer or AIDS diseases, removing diseases from humanity. So focus on this as you reflect and contemplate. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. My email addresses are c.aburime, A-B-U-R-I-M-E, @hotmail.com, and Color College, color spelled British, C-O-L-O-U-R-C-O-L-L-E-G, @hotmail.com. Feel free to contact me if you have any comments or questions. Namo Amitofo.